All right, let's jump right in. Today's explainer is an absolute masterclass. We are going to reverse engineer a massively successful, completely faceless channel and uncover exactly how they built a viral visual machine using AI. If you've been looking for a highly structured, hyper-efficient way to create content, you are going to want to pay close attention to this one.
65,000. Think about that number for a second. That is the massive subscriber count achieved by one very specific faceless finance channel. We're talking hundreds of thousands of views and a deeply engaged audience, all built without ever putting a human face on camera.
But wait, here is the truly mind-blowing part. 16. It only took them 16 uploads to hit that 65,000 milestone. That kind of extreme efficiency is practically unheard of. It proves they aren't just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? They are running a highly calculated, repeatable system.
So how in the world did they pull this off? You might naturally assume it required high-end 3D graphics or hiring some expensive animation studio. But actually, it's the exact opposite. Their secret sauce is extreme simplicity. We're talking clean, white backgrounds, a single illustrated character, simple money props, and big, bold text. They just repeat this exact same visual identity again and again, which is exactly why it scales like absolute magic.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. The faceless finance formula. 2. Ideation and visual scripting. 3. Building the brand kit. 4. Generating and editing scenes. And 5. Animation and scalable thumbnails.
Let's start with Section 1, the faceless finance formula, unlocking consistency.
Look, we've all seen the amateur AI approach, right? It's chaotic, you generate random images one by one, and then try to forcefully duct tape them together later. The pro approach, the formula that actually scales, is building a complete, reusable visual production system from day one. Doing all of this inside a unified creative workspace like Bart, instead of bouncing around standalone image generators, is what ensures that visual consistency is literally hard-coded into your process.
Moving right along to Section 2, Ideation and Visual Scripting, the foundation.
This whole workflow relies on a tight chain of 3 master prompts. First up, the ideation prompt brainstorms your niches and emotional hooks. Once you nail down a specific angle, say the psychology of saving, you feed that into the scripting prompt, which literally writes out your visual scenes. And finally, the visual workflow prompt translates that script for a design agent to actually generate the assets. It is a completely seamless handoff from a raw idea to a structured visual blueprint.
Now, the script itself has to be engineered visually from the get-go. Listen to this. Picture this. You're 25. You just got your first real paycheck and you did the responsible thing. Now picture the version of you at 45. Instead, you feel confused. You hear how visual that is? Every single section must create a scene using the exact same character and financial storytelling style. You aren't just writing words. You're scripting a continuous visual narrative.
Which brings us to Section 3, building the brand kit, your visual rules. This is where the magic really happens. Inside the workspace, you create a brand kit system document. And to be clear, this is not just a loose mood board. It is a strict set of rules designed to build psychological trust through familiarity. It demands a clean, hand-drawn educational style, a highly recognizable mascot, a cohesive color palette, and custom typography. When a viewer instantly recognizes your aesthetic, they are way more likely to stop scrolling and actually engage.
And hey, here's a detail a lot of people overlook. Your text is a massive part of your brand identity. If you're flashing words like broke, wealthy, or saving on screen, they absolutely must use the exact same hand-drawn font style every single time. If your fonts are jumping all over the place across different scenes, the illusion shatters and the channel just looks amateur. Consistent typography is completely non-negotiable for that professional feel.
All right, Section 4, generating and editing scenes, the infinite canvas. Because you've attached that brand kit, the design agent already knows the fundamental rules of your visual universe. You just feed it the script, it breaks it down, and boom, using agent batch generation, you get 10 perfectly connected scenes in literally one click. Think about the massive time savings here. You aren't writing complex prompts for every single image anymore. The AI hands you a full visual library where everything inherently belongs together.
But right here is where we hit a massive mindset shift. Stop regenerating, start editing. You know the struggle, right? An AI image is 90% perfect, but one tiny little detail is messed up, so you have to throw the whole thing out and burn credits, regenerating it over and over. Well, not anymore.
This workspace lets you convert those generated images directly into editable layers. Want to slide your character a bit to the left?
Done. Need to resize a financial chart or a money prop? Super easy. You can change text elements and refine the whole layout right there without ever restarting the generation. It's an absolute game changer that saves a ton of credits and keeps everything perfectly organized on one infinite canvas.
And that leads us to our final section, number 5, animation and scalable thumbnails, bringing it to life.
When it comes to animation for this specific style, less is absolutely more. Simple, clean motion makes the explainer feel alive without ruining that polished educational vibe. And here is the kicker. Your thumbnail is not some separate, annoying workflow. You just reuse the exact same character, the same font, and a clean background to create a clear financial before and after contrast. Because it's all in the same workspace, following the same brand kit, your thumbnails perfectly match your content, setting the exact right expectation before they even click.
By pulling ideation, branding, scene creation, editing, and thumbnail design all into one unified workspace, you really aren't just making a single explainer anymore. You're building a highly scalable media machine. And the more consistent that visual system gets, the deeper the trust you build with your audience. So here is the question to leave you with: finance, history, or psychology? What niche will you conquer with this scalable visual system?